Ajay Anand, and welcome to science classes from excelup.com. In this lesson, you will learn about matter in our surrounding from class 9th science. In this lesson, you will learn about physical nature of matter. Let us start with defining what is matter. Anything which has mass and which occupies space is called matter. So anything which you see around you, say for example a pen, pencil, book, your desktop, table, mobile phone, all of them they are matter. Even your body is matter. Matter is made of particles, and particles of matter are very small. To prove this, you can conduct a simple experiment. Take water in a beaker and put a spoonful of salt in water and stir the mixture for some time. After some time, you will notice that water has disappeared. So what happened? Salt has disappeared. So what happened? Salt got dissolved in water, because water is composed of numerous particles and salt is also composed of numerous particles, and all of them they got mixed together. Then particles of matter are moving continuously. So to show this, you can do another experiment. Take water in a beaker and put a few drops of ink in water. So at the beginning, you will clearly see the ink droplets in water, and clear water can also be seen. After some time, the whole water, it turns of the same color as that of ink. So if the ink is of blue color, the water becomes blue. This happens because of continuous movement of particles of ink and particles of water. In day-to-day life also, you could have observed that when your favorite dish is being cooked in the kitchen, you can recognize the smell while sitting in your study room. This happens because the particles of aroma from food, they travel from kitchen to your nostrils, and your olfactory senses, they detect the smell. This happens because of continuous movement of particles. Particles of matter have space between them, and particles of matter attract each other due to forces of attraction. And because of forces of attraction, a particular matter is able to keep its unique shape or size. So you could have observed that you can easily move your hands in air. You can also move your hands through water, but the movement will be not easy as moving in air. Then if you will try to move your hands through a ball, you will hurt yourself. This is because of the difference in space between particles of air or particles of water or particles of a ball. But while moving your hands through water or air, it is clear that there is a space between particles of matter. Okay. States of matter. Matter is found in 3 states, and they are solid, liquid, and gas. So what are the differences between solid, liquid, and gas? Solid has definite shape and definite volume. There is negligible space between particles, and the force of attraction between particles is greatest in solid. Because of greatest force of attraction between particles and negligible space between particles, the solid is able to maintain definite shape and definite volume. In case of liquid, it has indefinite shape and definite volume. So if you will take 200 ml of say water and put it in a tumbler, the water will remain 200 ml, but it will acquire the shape of the tumbler. Now if we will put it in a round bottom beaker, the shape will become that of round bottom beaker, but the volume will remain the same, that is 200 ml. Water particles, particles of liquids, they have some space between particles and somewhat lower force of attraction between particles compared to that in solids. So because of lower force of attraction and some space between particles, liquid is able to maintain its volume, but is able to acquire the shape of the container in which it is kept. And because of this, a liquid is able to flow also, and that is why liquids are known as fluids. Even gases are known as fluids because they can flow. In case of gas, it has indefinite shape and indefinite volume because there is lot of space between particles of gas and least force of attraction between particles. And because of this, a gas acquires the volume of whatever space is available for it. So if gas is air is filled in the tube of tire, so it takes the whatever space is available inside the tube. But once the tire gets punctured and air is released outside, then air acquires whatever space is available outside because of a lot of space between particle and because of least force of attraction between particles. Change of state. Matter undergoes change of state also. So a solid becomes liquid, then a liquid becomes gas, and a gas becomes solid. Opposite of it is also true. So a solid can become a gas can become liquid, and liquid can become solid. When temperature of liquid solid is increased, what happens? The particles of solid they gain kinetic energy, and a time comes when the kinetic energy is enough to overcome the force of attraction between particles, and at this stage solid turns into liquid or it melts into liquid. This process is called melting, and the temperature at which a solid turns into liquid is called the melting point of that solid. When a liquid is cooled down or temperature is reduced, then it turns to solid. When heat is supplied to a liquid, same thing happens, that the particles of liquid, they gain kinetic energy and they break free. The kinetic energy is enough to overcome the force of attraction, so liquid turns into vapor, and this process is called vaporization. And the temperature at which the vaporization starts or the liquid starts to boil is called boiling point of the liquid. Okay. Opposite of this process is called condensation. So liquid turns into gas by condensation. Sorry, gas turns into liquid by condensation, and liquid turns into solid because of freezing. In some cases, a solid changes to gas without undergoing liquid phase, and this process is called sublimation. So there are some examples like camphor, then dry ice, that is solid carbon dioxide. So they undergo sublimation, and similarly opposite of this can also happen, that a gas can turn into solid without undergoing liquid stage. This process is called deposition. Gases are highly compressible, so they can be compressed to convert them into liquid. So one example is LPG, that is liquefied petroleum gas. So what happens? The gas is stored inside cylinder under very high pressure, and because of high pressure the cylinder does not contain the gas, rather it contains liquid, that is liquefied petroleum gas. Even CNG, that is compressed natural gas, is stored under high pressure and in the form of liquid. Now there are two key terminologies, they are very important. One is latent heat of fusion and another is latent heat of vaporization. The amount of heat required to convert 1 kilogram of solid to liquid without a change in temperature is called latent heat of fusion. And the amount of heat required to convert 1 kilogram of liquid to gas without a change in temperature is called latent heat of vaporization. Evaporation. So earlier you have read that conversion of liquid into gas or into vapor is called vaporization. Vaporization happens at boiling point, and vaporization is a bulk phenomena, which means when vaporization happens, the whole bulk of liquid undergoes vaporization. But when a liquid changes to vapor without reaching its boiling point, then the process is called evaporation. Evaporation is a surface phenomenon. What happens that when a liquid is kept, then the molecules at the surface, they gain some heat from the surrounding, and that is enough to produce sufficient kinetic energy into them so that they can escape the force of attraction between particles and they can turn into vapor. And because of evaporation, you could have observed that when the floor of the house is mopped, it becomes dry within a few minutes. When cloths are left to dry, they dry because of evaporation. There are many factors which affect evaporation. They are temperature, pressure, surface area, humidity, and wind speed. Evaporation increases with increase in temperature, and the evidence of this is seen in that cloths they dry faster during summer month because of high temperature compared to whatever time it takes in winter. Evaporation decreases with increase in pressure because the pressure, it does not allow the kinetic energy to escape the force of attraction between particles. Then evaporation increases with increase in surface area, and that is why you need to spread your clothes in order to dry them faster. Humidity is the level of moisture in air. Okay, so higher humidity means that air cannot take more moisture any longer. So higher the humidity, there will be less evaporation, and because of this, cloths take longer time to dry during rainy season because humidity is very high during rainy season. Increase in wind speed increases evaporation. So if you want to dry your clothes in a faster way, sometimes you may keep it under the ceiling fan or under table fan. Evaporation and everyday life. There are many uses or many things which happen because of evaporation. One example is cotton cloths. They are comfortable for summer. What happens? Cotton cloths, they have pores in them, and whatever sweat our body produces, it escapes out in the form of vapor because of these pores. And evaporation, it causes cooling of the surrounding area because while undergoing evaporation, the water molecule or liquid molecule, they take up temperature from the surrounding, and that is why the temperature of the surrounding, it gets reduced. And due to this, cotton cloths, they are comfortable for summer months. We tend to sweat more in rainy season. This is a misconception. We sweat, our body sweats as per the temperature, as per the cooling requirement of the body. But what happens during rainy season, because of high humidity in the atmosphere, the rate of evaporation, it reduces, and due to this, the sweat does not dry up as fast as it happens during summer months, and so our body feels sticky because of presence of sweat, and it appears that we are sweating more in rainy season. Water kept in earthen pot becomes cool. Once again, this happens because of evaporation. The earthen pot, it has minute pores, and evaporation continues to take place through these pores, and because of evaporation, the temperature of the surrounding, it goes down, which helps in cooling down the temperature of water. we need to spread washed cloths to dry them quickly. As I have discussed earlier, that evaporation increases with increase in surface area. So when we spread the cloths, what we do, we are increasing the surface area so that evaporation takes place at a faster rate, and that is why when we spread the washed cloths, they dry in a faster way. That's all for this lesson. Thank you.